Capitalization is a rare honor for letters, and we don't just let any letter be capitalized. If you don't believe me, send your friend a text in all caps and see how quickly they ask you why you're mad at them. So, which words need capitalization and why? Let's walk through the reasons to capitalize a word and a few words that seem like they need capitalization but really don't. Viva la capitals! The easiest and most obvious reason for capitalization is starting a sentence. Aside from the rare times in poems, which don't always obey the normal rules of grammar, there should never be a sentence with a first word starting in a lowercase letter. Not much else to say about that, so moving on. Whenever you use the word I, you capitalize it. Why? I don't know. The word A is lowercase, so it's not because it's a single letter, and it's not because I stands in for a proper name and should be capitalized, because the words he and she do that as well. So let's just all agree that it does, even though none of us really knows why. When you're talking about specific people or places or organizations, those words are generally capitalized. If you go to a park, generally, it will be lowercase. But if you go to Central Park, that is a specific park, so you capitalize it. You don't capitalize the adjective electric, but if it's part of the specific company name General Electric, then you do. You don't capitalize guy or man when describing a general person, but if there is a specific person named Guy Man, you capitalize his name. Sometimes you can use words that describe family members as the proper name of the person. Aunt Carolyn, Grandpa George, and Mother are all descriptions that act as proper names. However, if it is not being used as a proper name but rather just a description, it doesn't get capitalized. What should I get your mother for Christmas isn't capitalized because it's just a description. But what should I get mother for Christmas is capitalized because it acts as her proper name. In these cases, capitalization is used for words like God, Jesus, Virgin Mary, Vishnu, Shiva, Buddha, Zeus, many others. The only exception in this case is if the word God is not referencing a specific God, but rather the idea or role of a god. You would capitalize it in the sentence, Poseidon, god of the sea, lost his trident, but not in the sentence, does anyone know where a god could pick up an enormous pitchfork at a low price? If you have an official title and it comes before your name, it gets capitalized. Some examples are Officer Down, Mayor McCheese, President Business. However, if the title comes after the name, it is just a description, so it doesn't get capitalized, like this, Brett McCheese, Mayor of McDonaldland. If a direction can also be used as a proper description of a specific location, then it gets capitalized. John thought he told the pilot to go to the Midwest, but instead they arrived in the Middle East. But if it's just a direction, it remains lowercase. If you go west for 30 miles, you'll find the abandoned missile silo, and you can help yourself. Proper names for days, months, and holidays are always capitalized, like this. In 1922, Halloween fell on a Monday. Seasons of the year, however, are normally lowercase. In 1923, Halloween was in the summer for some reason. Everyone's candy melted. Countries, nationalities, and languages are capitalized. In France, French people speak French. In the United States, American people speak English. Even if it comes in the middle of a sentence, if you are doing a direct quote of the beginning of a sentence, then the first letter needs to be capitalized, like this. As Daniel Webster once said, "No, I'm not that kid from the TV show." In the titles of books, songs, and movies, all the major words are capitalized. That means leave short prepositions and articles like the, a, and an lowercase. So a title should look like this, Silence of the Lambs. The only time a preposition or article in a title should be capitalized is if it's the first word in the title. On the waterfront, of human bondage. A name for a collected group of national, social, political, racial, or civic affiliation is also capitalized. Also, team names can be considered one of these as well. Things like Miami Dolphins, Democrats, and Asian Americans all fall into this category. If a word or phrase describes a period or specific historical event, then it also is capitalized. The Victorian Age is one, so are the Dark Ages, the Renaissance, and the Great Depression. However, if you're just describing the century that something took place, like the 19th century, you don't capitalize that. And finally, Abbreviations. If a title or phrase is abbreviated with a series of letters, you capitalize all those letters. For example, IBM, NPR, and NBC are abbreviations for International Business Machines, National Public Radio, and National Broadcasting Company. Those are all proper names, but there are also abbreviations for common phrases which also get capitalized, such as ASAP and RSVP. Even abbreviations used in texting, like LOL and ROFL, are capitalized. But since this is a college paper, maybe steer clear of the texting abbreviations. And that's it. Congratulations. You now know what should be capitalized. So search your paper, make sure that you have them all. And if you have any questions, you can visit us in person in the Writing Center. It's in Building 4, inside the Academic Success Center, room 120. Good luck.